What's up guys, Brunsnick's back and it's time for another glove review. Today I'll be reviewing the Robbie Revs 2. Now this design has a shorter design up top for less finger support and more versatility in my eyes. I can't wait to see what this does when I get it out on the lanes, but before we get to all that, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Now let's see what the Robbie Revs 2 is all about. Alright, it's time for another glove review. Today is the Robbie Revs 2. This one I'm actually most excited to try. Like we talked about in the previous Robbie Revs videos, is they all had a finger support that kind of locked my finger into a spot and actually pushed up against it, making me get around the side of it more. This Robbie Revs does not have that same shape. It's a little bit lower here to give my fingers a little bit more freedom to do whatever they need to do. So with that said, we're going to try it. We're going to try all the different settings. I'm going to start it with urethane out and then move in with resin. So here we go. So we're neutral to start. Let's get this party started. Yeah, I already feel that I don't feel the finger issue anymore. Right up the back of it. Ha! I felt it as I went, but loading my hand on the ball, I didn't feel this part kind of pressing up against this finger. So there's going to be a learning curve here with this glove, just like with every other glove I've tried. They're all a little bit different in their little nuances there. So we're going to change the Velcro here, get that little snugger there. All right. So we got the first shot out of the way. That one definitely, as they all do, feel weird the first shot. And now let's try it again. Now that I know what it's going to do, let's try to let the glove do what it wants me to. Not bad at all. More forward roll, nice easy roll. You know, without that finger, it's not forcing me around the side of the ball. So let's start cranking it up one notch here. So now we're 1, 2, and we're still neutral here. Always make sure that's locked down. All right, let's try it again with urethane, the old purple. Go from there. So this is on setting 2 now. A little bit more cuppage, bend. Let's go from there. That's hooking. Okay. I don't know that it gave me more revs, but it definitely felt like it made me slow her down a little bit and wait on it. So let's crank it up one more. So now we're on the 3rd setting. Now we're cranked up a little bit more. We'll try it. I'm trying to get the speed up just a little bit. Getting a little bit lazy with the speed. Focus so much more on what the glove's going to do for my hand at the bottom. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to find the spot where it feels most comfortable. So that one I felt like, you know, this was actually bent back a little bit. Gave me a little pressure, so it's a little different. You know, when I had that support there, I wasn't feeling that kind of strain. So we're on the 4th setting now, more cup. I don't know how good this is going to be based on the last few. I think I'm going to maybe want to go a little more flatter and work on the tilt, the rotation of the glove a little bit more. So I'm going to take this one nice and easy and try to cut my wrists here and keep it nice and strong. Yeah, not bad once you get used to it, but what I'm finding on this glove for me is it's actually creating kind of a bend point here, and I'm getting a little bit of rubbing, you know, or a little bit of bending from there because the ball's putting so much pressure right here. So I'm going to put it back to neutral, flat, and now we're going to change this to that way. So we're going to change that to there, and we're going to throw the same shot. And I think as we go, I'm not going to mess with all 4 settings as we go. I don't want to hurt myself. You know, I don't want to feel the pressure. It's not really painful, but I can definitely feel that there is some pressure there. The glove's doing its job. Yeah, pain, pressure. That's actually really, really good right there. The pressure went away from it cupped, you know, so I think on some of these gloves, you know, if you're gonna want to cup the wrist more, you're gonna want that finger support, because I think it definitely helps that finger do its job and stay supportive and not kind of bend back. So either, you know, you go with the longer one or you go with a little bit pronounced, but with not as much cuppage, that was the best shot I think I've thrown in a long time. Let's try it again. Yeah, I just brought the cup up 1. I'm gonna go from there. So we're on position 2. Not bad. All right, we're not going to cup it any more than that, but we are going to bring this motion back to there. So we brought and swung the lateral right in there. So now we're going to try it. That actually feels better for me, for this finger and support, because when it gets over here, you know, my hand kind of feels like it's not lined up properly. But like I said, these gloves make you do something, and you got to kind of work along with the glove. I think that's the key, is don't try to fight your own motion, try to hit it or whatever. Let the glove position do all the work. Just put your hand in the right spot, get it set up, and stay there. That's great. Yeah, that felt like great roll right there. I think that's a great spot for me. I think we solved the urethane equation. I think that felt the best actually right there. 1 spot up and cranked over this way. So we're gonna put it back to neutral. We're gonna test some resin balls. So we're back to neutral right there. Okay. Now for this one, let's get out the Columbia High Speed. Great ball. Let's try it. We're gonna move in a little bit and see what this ball does now with resin, with the Robbie Revs 2. Great roll. Great roll. Now, I think if you are a power player, let's get this out of the way, and you have a lot of rev rate, you know, I'm more in the 330 to 370 range given the time and day, but if you have a higher rev rate, this is probably not going to give you more revs. I think if you are rev challenged and you have issues with wrist strength, this ball, I'm so used to doing ball reviews, this glove is going to give you support you need to stay more firm and get better ball roll on it. So right now, my rev rate is probably down a smidge because I'm not able to unload. That's the main thing, is it keeps your wrist in a 1 spot. I'm going to crank it up 1 more. Oh, that's 2. Come on. There we go. Nope. Come on. There we go. So we're up 1, position 2. I'm going to throw that same shot and see what it does. Get out of there. Yeah, it's definitely forced me to come around the side of it just a little bit more. We're going to crank it up 1 more. That'll be the end of the road. I'm not going to go to the 4th one just because it created a little more pressure on my finger than I want to feel. Without that longer finger from like the Robbie Revs 3, you know, I don't feel like that's in a good position for me. So let's try 1 more shot from there on the 3rd setting. Yeah, that's way around it. Yeah, personally for me, getting into the 3rd and 4th setting on here is just not as comfortable for me. So I'm gonna back it off. We're gonna mess with the laterals again. We're gonna go this way to start. And we'll throw the same shot. We'll see what it does for my roll. Let's get some rosin. All right. So now we are cranked to that way on a neutral setting on the cup. Gotta say, you know, the roll it gives when you go that way, more end over end it felt like there. But if you need a ball to kind of read the pattern and roll off of it as opposed to go sideways, these gloves are a good training tool, and for some, a great way to get that. So I'm gonna crank it to the other way. Now we're going the opposite way, this way. We're gonna try that same thing. I felt a little bit more like I had control of just the ball in general. I felt like that was a little bit more natural to my natural release. So we're gonna move it in now, we're gonna swing it. So we're gonna put it back to neutral. Neutral. Actually, on my experience, I'm gonna go to the second one right here. That's where it felt the best. So neutral here, we'll do one neutral, we'll do one left, and we'll do one right. And we'll wrap up this video. All right, let's move it, 10 left. On setting 2 and straight up and down. Around the side. Yeah, get that 8-pin out of there. We don't want it. All right, that felt pretty good, looked pretty good. It's like we said, we're gonna crank it this way. So now we're this way. And for me, that's been getting a little bit more spinner release. That's what I felt like. Kind of increases my tilt a little bit. And we'll see how it does now that we're further left. I know I need to project it. So, let's go. Oh, that ball waited and waited and waited. It went. All right, last shot. Crank this back to the right, left, sorry, my other right. And we're going that way with it. Last shot. So this is where I think it felt best with urethane. Let's see how that translates to resin playing deeper angles. All right. Okay, got back, didn't quite have the pop than the other run. So, spinner release was a little bit better from the deeper angles and playing more hook. But that's my review of the Robbie Revs 2. What'd you guys think? Was this the best one out of them? There's definitely differences between the Revs 1, 2, and 3. Hope you guys saw them all, and you guys are better informed with these kind of gloves. If you have any questions or comments, I'll try to help you. Put them in the comments below. As always, please subscribe.